I think actually this, strangely enough, this woman kind of nailed it when it comes to the Trump malaise, the Trump confusion, the Trump disappointment. And I think what's important here is that, you know, she basically says what we're all kind of thinking. And we'll see what she has to say here. It's all good. She nails it.
As the right policies and doesn't understand the recent criticism. Well, the first problem is if you really wanted to know what was going on with the public, the last people on the planet you should be asking are the House Republicans. They're not going to tell you the truth. They'll tell you it's online anti-Semitism that's being paid for by influence by Qatar and Iran. I'll try and tell you the truth, so I'll tell you the truth from my perspective anyway. You campaigned on no new wars, but yet you've spent the majority of your first year as a president interfering in foreign conflict, while the rest of us really struggled this year. Okay, with inflation. You tell us there's no inflation, but our pocketbooks tell us that there is inflation. You tell us that the economy is better, but our pocketbooks say that the economy is not better. That tactic didn't work under the Biden administration, and it sure as shit isn't working anymore now. Everybody hates Lindsey Graham. Everybody hates Lindsey Graham. The tariff conversation. You built up and built up and built up and built up that we were going to get all this money from tariffs and that maybe eventually we weren't going to have to pay income taxes anymore. But so far, none of that has come to fruition. What you offered us instead was $2,000 checks. And I am firmly convinced you only offering us these $2,000 tax rebates in order to ensure that we're going to file our taxes.
I never thought about that. That's a good one, right? How do you ensure all the people to do their taxes? Offer them $2,000 to do it. Then they got the taxes.
The only reason you're doing that is because of the tax roll conversation that has been happening for a couple months now, and it finally caught fire. You built a ballroom. Fine. Build a ballroom. Fine. Use rich people's money to build the ballroom. I don't really care if you build a ballroom, but I don't understand why that was made a priority in the first year of your presidency and why you've tried to make it such a big deal in the first year of your presidency when people can't buy homes. And instead of helping people buy homes or making sure that people were making enough money to buy homes or even cars at this point, you offer them 50-year mortgages, which is basically a precursor to universal and generational debt. The Epstein documents. You called it a hoax. We all know it's not a hoax. We know it's not a hoax. We arrested some asshat from Venezuela in the middle of the night, get him on a plane, flew him back to this country, and then are trying him in New York in like 14 hours. We couldn't arrest one person that was involved in the Epstein list. You know that they shouldn't be redacted. You know that there's names of very high-profile people on there that were sleeping with children. We arrested the president of Venezuela or the leader of Venezuela before we touched anybody domestically. When the Democrats were in charge during Joe Biden's administration, they ruined everything. The COVID stuff, okay, going to war for Ukraine, the money laundering, they ruined everything. And there was no accountability. There's not even any talk of accountability. The only thing that we continue to see is everybody out here telling us that we should be more grateful, throwing us these breadcrumbs, screaming at us that we should be more grateful. The people of this country deserve better than that. You're giving us $2,000 tax rebate checks, but you're offering $3,000 right before Christmas for any illegal alien that is still in the country that's willing to deport themselves back. Gonna save us money in the long run. No. Bring somebody in, find them, and deport them. They're all on the welfare system anyway. Do a fucking audit. Just come in and deport them. Uphold the law. National Guard into all these big cities. And deported. So just do it. Instead, you're bribing them. And then they can go back with their $3,000 check and then they can come back again. They got to do it legally this time. Sending millions and billions of dollars to both Israel and Ukraine while Americans are stuck here with 50-year mortgages. Did you know, and you have to know this, you're the president, that Israel has free health care, that Israel has free, they get checks for every month for every child that they have? Did you know that they get checks for maternity leave? They have free schooling. They've got everything. Israel already has that. We don't have that, but Israel has that. But we keep sending the money. We pay for that when we can't afford to have that of our own. That's a problem. Doge audits. What happened with that? Why are we not holding more people accountable with the Doge stuff? Is anybody arrested? Is anybody going to be arrested? Shrimps on treadmill. How many millions of dollars for shrimps on treadmill? Is anybody going to be held accountable for any of that? There's too much foreign influence in our Congress, in our presidency, in everything. There's too much foreign influence. There's too much foreign lobbying. The riddles. Can we stop with the riddles? Every time something happens that is viewed relatively unpopular by the public, by you, to you, okay, all of a sudden we start posting Q stuff. It's old. It's tired out. It's done. With the riddles. We don't want riddles. We don't want riddles. We want transparency, and we want accountability, and we want to see it. We want it. That's what we want. That is what we voted for, and that is not what we're getting. We're getting more riddles. And I feel like this is just a few of the things that people are extremely disappointed in. So if you really want to, I doubt it, but if you really want to know, this is just a few. And I'm willing to bet dollars to donuts the people in my comments will also name some of their frustrations. If you really want to know, don't ask the influencer. Don't ask the GOP. They're busy taking selfies and writing books. If you really want to know, come and ask us. This morning, Donald Trump.
She kind of hit it on the nail. You know, like all Donald Trump had to do to course correct the world's trajectory was make America first. And I think as soon as he just immediately stopped doing that. And now it's very apparent that he's Israel first at all costs. So it's lost. I don't know. I wanted Trump to win because I wanted him to be America first and create the empire of strength and power into the next millennia. You know, being the tumor on top of America that is Canadistan, we would have benefited from it had he, not completely subverted the what everyone voted him in for, and now he's got to deal with that. So the part of my prediction in 2026 is he'll lose the midterms, just due to Israel, right? Like I think the Israel worship will be like a scarlet letter moving forward. Maybe not this cycle, but moving as gerontocracy disappears one funeral at a time and the younger generation comes up, they're less sympathetic or even give a shit about Israel. It's like, what the hell? Would they get free healthcare? They get free healthcare? What? I bet you it's better healthcare than Canada too. I bet you it's top-notch healthcare. Canada is that little sucker fish on the bottom of a shark. Yeah, it's not even that. Like, Canada is a failed state, my friends. Failed state. It's funny because most of the dummies here will hate, like the vast majority, believe me, like 80%. When you see, like, you might think that your Plato's Wall is lying to you when there's all this pushback from Canadians about Trump taking over Canada. It's actually about 80% that are against it. Just knee jerk, right? No, right? Most boomers and government workers, right? So you're just, wherever your bread is buttered, you're going to protect. But if money talks, because they just got a money printer, it's like monopoly banker, right? Oh, how about $100K? No? Okay, well, it'll just keep going up till it's a consensus. Just money talks. Like, I think they're talking about that with Greenland. I think they may be offering money, and as soon as they offer money, everyone's political views change. That's why it's the illusion of democracy, right? It's not really a principled democracy by any means. Yeah, Imani Rubio briefed Congress on buying Greenland. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's all kabuki theater anyway, right? This is just theater for the people for the unremarkable retards that chew on their ignorance bones. Trump, Canada first, elbows up. That's how it works. It's getting old, though. It's getting old here in 2026. We lost the 20 moving average. No big deal. Like I don't know when I put this doodle in, but before Christmas, I guess. Kind of followed it. It's following it to a T. We got a little bit above it and a little bit under it. And now where does this play out to? That's right at this thing. Carl Elder, that's his real name. He says, hey, don't dox me, Piano Matty B. My new name is CT Honey Badger. CT Honey Badger. Thank you, Carl, a.k.a. Honey Badger, the true Honey Bajay. Yeah, this is the new. Thank you very much for the support, Carl. Much appreciated. Anybody check on Misco? Is he doing okay, Carl? You would probably know. Last time I checked, he was okay. He's okay. Anyone knows, let me know. We have the moving at the MACD has crossed bearish. No big deal. This is the 4-hour chart. Like this is just like nothing moves slower or means less than the 4-hour chart. Let's check out the ding dong here. Yeah. So what is this doodle? The doodles are getting a little more rational. It's like if someone were to do a psychological profile of my patience for this market, you could probably tell and how bad the doodles are. This is supposed to be consolidation, right? And you can see how this would be a little. No, lasers. He's fine. He's just, he's life kind of pulls you in different directions sometimes. It's a cute little cup and handle pattern. Textbook as textbook. This, I mean, it couldn't be more. We're on the second. Look at this candle sticking this wick to a T. That which one's wicked will get candlesticked. I should have put the sustain pedal on there. And that plays out to, I think this is, I did this a little rush job on, oh no, even on a rush job was pretty damn, we'll go here. A real breakout would probably be right there. And that would take us to 101.8. Let's put that in. We got to put numbers in. Just because the market's not moving doesn't mean we can't make hella speculative guesses here. That's all they are, guesses, really. 101.8. That's where this cup and handle will play out. Now it'll probably take a longer time. End of Jan? Yeah, we'll go end of Jan. Maybe we get there, 101.8. But right now we're just retesting this channel of eternal monotony. Now I was thinking about, I woke up this morning at about 4 o'clock and I was thinking about Venezuela because, as you know, I am the Bitcoin Forrest Gump of this simulation. And the reason why it's so bizarre to me is that I know a lot of people have been to Venezuela, right? Maybe not. If you have, let me know in the comment section. But I spent every Tuesday in Venezuela for 3 months in my simulation because I worked on a cruise ship as a casino dealer. And every Tuesday we stopped outside of Margarita Island, which is outside of Venezuela. And you had to take a little boat from the cruise ship to Margarita Island, from which most people stayed because it was like a little beach. Shitty beach, but it was like, well, or you could take a cabin to the main city. I can't remember what it was called. I just called it Venezuela. But one thing I did remember there is how beautiful the women were there. It was insanity. Now, this was 2025, so maybe it's a shithole like Canada now. Like, if you were to be in year 2000 in Canada, Canada was glorious. It was, and beautiful women everywhere. So Venezuela was no different, if not it was a gem. It was a gem of a hotbed for beautiful women. It was like walking around like, what's that? That modeling show with the lingerie. Can't remember what was it called? Is it still, I don't know if it's still on. Victoria's Secrets, right. It was like everywhere you looked, it was like a Victoria's Secret supermodel, dressed to the nines too. It's like 40 degrees. You're walking downtown. It was very empty except for supermodels everywhere. It was very weird. And it's like, how bizarre is that I spent that time there in Venezuela? We have what it is. I mean, it's just all coincidence, right? But it's also the same coincidence that in my room, which is about the size of, how big would it be that everyone would know? Maybe the help desk at a grocery store where you buy cigarettes and lottery tickets. If you can imagine that, cut it in half, and that was the size of my and my girlfriend's at the time's lodgings, with 2 single beds that go like this, and the bathroom was the shower, right? The whole bathroom was the shower, right? But that's also the same room that they left in the cupboard, Confessions of a Economic Hitman and Mr. Nice, these 2 books. And Confessions of an Economic Hitman was just like one of the rude awakenings before I was awake. You know, it was like they were trying. Whoever is running my simulation was trying, leaving these weird little things for me to stumble upon and engage with. And then the weirdest part of all was we had one TV in our room. I don't know, a 9-inch. I don't even know. It was so small. It was like one of those things that you thought were cool in the 70s, like this tiny little screen. And we had 3 channels. One channel was last week's festivities that the editor drummed up, and it had the music. That song on repeat 24/7. The other channel was 1001 Soccer Goals. 1,000. It's just soccer goals after soccer goals after soccer goals, 24/7. And the third channel, and I think it was just in my room because this is my simulation, Venezuela, Confessions of an Economic Hitman, Mr. Nice, which is the stories of the drug trade in the 70s. And then my third channel was The Matrix, 24/7. Like it's weird. The Matrix, 24 of all movies on a cruise ship. The Matrix, 24/7 for 6 months. I mean, I couldn't get away from it because, yeah, the movie Lasers with Keanu Reeves. You can only watch so many goals, so they all kind of, you get numb to it. You know, it's like eating too much pizza. At the end, you're like, yeah, I'm good. I don't need to see, windmill kick. Yeah, it all gets boring. And of course, I'm not going to watch the festivities of the year before. So I watched The Matrix, and I came into it not liking it because I had a natural aversion to Keanu Reeves acting. I was like, what's this? How's this guy doing this type of movie? Like, he was good in Bill and Ted's because that's basically the extent of his acting, kind of. I did like Point Break. So he had a little bit of cred, you know. But his acting in Point Break was kind of the worst part of the movie. I was more into like Patrick Swayze's character, you know, and surfing. You know, every man in their 20s has a couple fantasies. One is being a bartender. 2 is being a surfer. You know, it's like, well, if things went right for me, you know, maybe I could bartend down in, you know, Mexico and surf all day. You know, it's these type of things that go through your head. So I went into reluctantly watching it, with side-eyeing it, like, what is this movie? And then, you know, after 6 months, I was so red-pilled onto what life was all about. It was like I was successfully brainwashed. Whoever was running my simulation had successfully brainwashed me. I was never the same. Listen, you can't watch The Matrix for 6 months. And that's on every day. Just we'd have breaks, right? So we would have, every now and then we'd have an hour break. So when you're on the cruise ship, you're not there to not work, right? So it isn't like normal labor laws where it's like, well, it's been 4 hours. You deserve a 15-minute coffee break or whatever the hell goes on now, if that even is a thing. No, if the ship was making money and moving, you never got a break. You got the odd break when there was like some sort of overlap. It's like, oh, we got too many dealers here. Oh, hey, Matt, you can go take a 20-minute break. Go down, watch The Matrix, come back, deal poker or roulette or blackjack or whatever. And then on your off time, like when you're done, there's the only thing to do is drink excessive amounts of beer all night long, or watch The Matrix, which I did. Yeah, John Lux, both of the Wachowski brothers are now trannies. It's like the sacrifice they had to make for such an incredible movie. It's like, we'll let you make the movie. However, we do have a Faustian bargain for you. You don't have to take it, but after you're done, we're going to turn you both into women. Excuse me, what was that? We're getting lots of women if we make this? No, we're going to turn you guys into women. Ooh. I'm not sure I like that. Hey, you get to make The Matrix, though. It'll be around forever. Well, it's an important movie. Planned opposition, et cetera, et cetera. Turn half the population into red-pilled anarchists. Done deal. And that's what they did. That is weird that they're both trannies now. But yeah, they did make more Matrix. I didn't watch any of the other ones. Like, I think there's 2 or 3. Was there a 4, E-Money? Matrix 4? I know there was a 2 and 3. I just never watched it. I thought to myself, Matrix 1 was so goddamn incredible. I don't want it to ruin it with, like, sequels are never that good. I can't even think of a sequel that might have been good. The only one I can kind of think of is Evil Dead 3. Only because it went way over the top from, like, Evil Dead is a classic, right? But Evil Dead 3 was just over the top, and yeah, Army of Darkness. It was like so crazy. Remember, he got a chainsaw on his, he cuts off his hand, turns it into a chainsaw. I like it. That was good. Chadwick, the wife, and I were just talking about getting Matrix 1 on UHD 4K DVD Blu-ray, but not the others. Yeah, that's probably in the conversation. Well, should we get the trilogy? No. Just let's just get the first one. Scotty Mo, Top Gun 2 wasn't bad. See, there's been 2 movies I've watched in the past, I don't know, 10 years. One was Top Gun 2 and one was Oppenheimer. In the theater, I'm talking about. And I've never watched another movie since at home or wherever. I don't have like the means to watch. I don't have any of the subscription things. I have YouTube. That's it. But when I saw Top Gun, because I'm such a psycho, and because of The Matrix, I'm like, this is just weird programming. America, rah, needs to go to miscellaneous country somewhere over there and take out nuclear facilities before they're built. It's like, what does that sound like? And this was, I don't know how long ago was this, 3 years ago? And then, of course, any country that has, didn't they do that to Iran? Didn't they like snuff out some sort of alleged nuclear program? Anyway, that's why I can't watch any movies anymore or TV shows. The TV shows, because they're all woke, right? There's like, you saw it I noticed it back in the day when I used to watch like HBO shows. I would always wait for the token gay guy. There's always a gay guy in HBO, right? That was the entrance into that story arc. And then it just became, now I think like Duke was watching Stranger Things with his I had to ruin it for him too, with his mom, and he thought it was good. I'm like, listen, this is like the ultimate in propaganda programming for kids. They're trying to make like this character. I think I haven't seen it, but I've seen things like the main character comes out as gay and has a big gay epilogue or something like that. I'm like, you got to watch these things. You got to watch it with an open mind and know that this is just programming. Like how disappointing for a 10-year-old kid. What? Like, no one told me when I was 10 enjoying all the stupid movies that I was watching. But then again, they were just stupid movies, Adventures in Babysitting. Don't tell me that that's a propaganda movie, is it? Let's see. Let's think about it real quick. Was Adventures in Babysitting a propaganda movie? Well, there was some like a touch on elites, right? Didn't they have to go to some party? And I I don't know. It's too vague for me. But those were the movies that I watched. So there was no massive programming. But like with Seeing Thing or Stranger Things, like you got to watch, because when you're watching it, Duke, and you're silent for like longer than 3 minutes, you've been inducted into a post-hypnotic suggestion. He's looking at me going, this TV show is, it's hypnotizing me. And he's like, yeah, that's all it's there to do, is to just induct you into a lull, and then it just programs you. And his mom doesn't have like ad-free anything. So it's like, and if there's commercials, they're just priming your frontal lobe to make sure that whatever they put in after will get deeply absorbed, because it's not just one thing to watch it for an hour and a half. They need to prime you right across, almost lobotomize you. And he wonders why him and his old man don't watch any movies. I almost went to a movie with him in the Christmas break, just out of like, let's go to a movie. And he's like, nah, there's no good ones. Like, okay, done. Of the decade window he's been alive, the one time I asked, does he want to go to a movie? He's like, no, there's no good ones. Now, when I was his age, if my dad asked me to go to a movie, didn't matter what it was, right? Just going to movies was fun. The fact that they were shitty or good, it made no difference. Plus, I got to have like, some pop or popcorn or one of the two. It was never both. It was never chocolate bar and popcorn, as much as my childhood fantasies would want. It was just popcorn or chocolate bars. And the popcorn just wasn't sexy enough. You want, it's like chocolate was the real candy game going to movie theaters. Lasers go pew pew. Watching TV often shifts your brainwaves from active beta waves, alertness, focus, to more relaxed alpha waves. Yeah, that's people enjoy it, right? It's like the diversion of it. They leave their life for a certain degree, and they get to be relaxed, I suppose, and in that relaxed state, just like the hypnotists tell you, right? Relax. Let your mind drift away. Let your mind relax. That's exactly. I remember that's part of my simulation too. When I recorded Leaderhouse, there was in the studio, right? This is old school studio where you had to go in and play the song. There wasn't Pro Tools. That's why the Leaderhouse album is such a classic album. It's like one of the last albums that were ever done in a studio with a band, right? You can tell. That's why 25 years later, people still like it. There was one book so when everyone's doing their own parts, their overdubs, I'm just kind of sitting there. There was one book, and it was the biography of Dr. something Mesmer, the guy who invented hypnotism. Mesmer, that's where mesmerism comes from, like his name. That was the one I was reading, while the band was doing their overdubs. Jesse Wilson, Adventures in Babysitting, was 80s propaganda. Sexual exploitation of young and sexy Elizabeth Shue and Marvel's Thor playing the long game. I have to say, if anyone aged well as far as actresses, it's Elizabeth Shue. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe she got some work and she looks like AI now. But the last kind of pictures I saw of her, she looked pretty good for, I don't know, she's got to be in her 60s now. Right? Most of them get the work done and they become like the platypus constant. Make sure you like and subscribe and share